And the story of Noah, which is the flood, actually is stolen from the Pharaoh Khufu, who was the second king in the second king of Egypt in the 4th dynasty, I believe. King Khufu, he built a 150-foot boat, which you can see it right now on Google. You can see images of it. The African Egyptians built a 150-foot boat, which was symbolic to when you were spiritually upgraded and you was able to spiritually pass over, let's just say, into the next realm. I don't feel like going into the story, but it's a 150-foot boat built by an African pharaoh named Khufu, and it was called the New Ankh. Ankh, like the Ankh cross with the loop, and New Ankh. The Council of Nicaea just changed the name of the boat, New Ankh, to Noah. So New Ankh, Noah, and they call it Noah's Ark. And since it's a giant boat, they made up a retarded ass story about, oh, the world flooded and everybody got on this boat and put the animals on it. Well, you get on a giant boat and put all these animals on it and see if they don't eat your ass. But excuse my language. Let me keep going. They stole the story. The Bible, like I said, is plagiarized and it's real. It's informative, but is African history remixed and given back to you to enslave you. Now, yes, after they crushed Egypt and they finally passed laws that forbid Egyptians from practicing their religion, and they started forcing everybody under the Judaism and Catholicism and Christianity banner. In about 350 AD, they did travel to Ethiopia and they did give the Christian religion, or force the Christian religion upon the black African Ethiopian people there, and that is how Ethiopians became Christians. So they was not already Christian. That is how they became Christians. If you know anything about Egypt, it was like the little sister of Ethiopia. Ethiopia used to be the entire continent, but due to wars and other things going on, they segregated themselves and they just became the southern region down there, like by Sudan and all of that. But after the Caucasian brought his Christianity and all of his bull crap and used that in Egypt, he marched on to Ethiopia, and from Ethiopia he spread Christianity and Catholicism like a virus all throughout the entire continent of Africa. Now, in 622 AD, Islam was created, and Islam is written based off the Old Testament Bible. So now what the white man is doing is, if blacks don't accept Christianity, we're gonna hit them from the Islam approach. And most black people you see today are either Christians or Muslims. And Islam, like as you can see, Muslims, when they pray, they bump their head on the ground and they get that soft spot. Because, like I said, the Quran is written based off the Old Testament, and in the Bible it says Muslims fell up. And it says, and when Moses seen the Lord, he fell upon his face and bumped his head, or something crazy like that. But I have a verse right now from the Bible I'm going to read that shows and proves that Muslims pray to the ground and bump their head because of Moses. Chapter 34, verse 8. And Moses made haste and bowed his head toward the earth and worshipped. In this particular Bible right here I have, it does not have the bump the head part, but you can Google it. And there are Abraham in the Bible, who I told you was Pharaoh Akhenaten. In this Bible, it says in another verse that I'm not going to read because I want to keep moving on, that he fell upon his face and he bumped to the Lord. And all the prophets in this book fall upon their face and they pray to the Lord. And Muslims fall upon their face and they pray to their Lord, because the Quran was written based off the Old Testament, based off of Christianity's Old Testament. And now, making sure I'm staying in order and I'm moving along. So now you have Africans. You have Africans are being indoctrinated now with Christianity and Islam, and this is how Christianity and Islam was truly introduced into the African culture. So as you can see, for 76 trillion years, nobody said nothing about no Christianity or no Islam until the Caucasian freestyled it and brought it upon you. Now, with that being said, let's just go from 350 AD. We know that white people was pillaging. Skipping a little through history, we're gonna go to 1492, Christopher Columbus. Now, 1492, white people start their history there, and they love that time period so much because that's the first time they ever left Europe in their life. Now, Christopher Columbus did not discover America. actually a person that he had with him by the name of Amerigo Vespucci. Amerigo Vespucci, when Christopher Columbus set sail for the New World, allegedly, really he landed in what today is known as the Dominican Republic on December 5th, 1492. That's where he actually landed when he started slave plantations and he started enslaving the indigenous black people there, who you want to call Indians or Taino Indians or Arawak Indians, whatever you want to call them, black people. He started enslaving them December 5th, 1492, and from there he seen the coast of Florida, and he sent Amerigo Vespucci to the coast of Florida, who landed there in 1499. Hence, the name America is named after Amerigo Vespucci. Amerigo Vespucci, America. Now, after Christopher Columbus landed in the Dominican Republic, 1492, he then set sail on today what is known as Puerto Rico. He landed there November 19th, 1493. Did the same thing he did, enslaved everybody. Then he went to Jamaica, landed there May 13th, 1494, and he continued to travel to today what is called Central America or Latin America, to places such as Costa Rica, El Salvador. You can look this up. I don't want to stay stuck on Christopher Columbus, but this is why Puerto Ricans and Spanish people follow the Latin culture, and they're Catholics and they're Christians, because Christopher Columbus did the same thing to them what the Caucasians did to their African brothers and sisters on the continent of Africa, which was enslave them and force their religion on them. So the entire Latin America and Spanish culture is the same reason why black people in America speak English, the same reason why Spanish people speak Spanish, because the Caucasian forced their culture on you. Now, in 1555, not even 100 years later, about 63 years later, John Hardy Hawkins came to Africa, went to places such as Ghana on the west coast of Africa, and he brought us over here on the good ship Jesus. I'm pretty sure nobody on that slave ship even spoke English at all to even know Jesus' name, let alone did they know the boat name was Good Ship Jesus, let alone was they praising Jesus before this time. But they brought us over here on the Good Ship Jesus. Now, around this same time, the 1500s, the Spaniards, because Christopher Columbus was a Spaniard, they invaded areas in Central Africa such as the Congo. Specifically, I want to speak about an African warrior queen named Queen Zinga, who fought off the Spaniards in the 1500s. So now you got Christopher Columbus is enslaving Latin America. John Hardy Hawkins is still enslaved from Ghana. Meanwhile, at the same time, the Spaniards are trying to enslave and steal more Africans, and Queen Zinga is actually fighting them off. This is during the 1500s. So all of this slavery and Christianity and Catholicism and Islamic attack is going on at the on the Africans still. They never stopped from Egypt, and it's still going on all at the same time period. All at the same time. So now Queen Zinga, she was a warrior queen. She had an army, and what she would do was she would actually send black men to join the Spaniards in front, like they was going to help him steal slaves. And whenever they would come upon a tribe, the alleged black servants to the Spaniards were really troops for Queen Zinga, so they would turn on the Spaniards and slaughter them. She faked her death multiple times to make the Spaniards think she was dead so that they would leave her people alone, and then she would come back years later and attack them. And she single-handedly, as a female, protected the African people for decades. Read Destruction of Black Civilization, look her up. I don't want to stay stuck on this. I want to keep going on the history of black people and bring it up.